All right. Good evening, folks. My name is Don Fick, and I'm with the Library Telescope program. And tonight I'm joined by Tom Lynch, my partner, who's been helping me host programs for quite a while on our uh, monthly program. So I'm trying to get doesn't Tom are the is the live feed looks like it's clear for your point of view, and I'm just looking like it's got a little funny there. Okay, I guess I'm fine. Sorry, I was looking at my screen and it looked really a little bit funny. So anyway, we're glad to have you tonight. This once again is we do this library telescope program every month, and tonight we have a really cool program about International Observe the Moon Night. I want to give you just a little context about the library telescope program if you're not familiar with the program. In this program, you can take a telescope, you can go to a library and check out a telescope, or in some cases binoculars, just like a book. It could be 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's really a great program, and it's worldwide. We're actually growing. We have a nice map on our website that you can check out, and the the United States has most every state involved. Canada's got several provinces, and we've got the Netherlands and the UK involved. And we're pretty sure the program's in other places, maybe South America. We're just trying to find all the locations. This has been very much a grassroots program, so we're very excited to be part of that. So before we get started with our regular program tonight, we have some program opportunities. Actually, the September 9th through the 16th, which I guess is really just passed up here. We hope that you participated in our library telescope program, but if you missed that, you can actually be involved in what we'll talk about tonight would be the International Observe the Moon Night, which is October 1st, a Saturday, October 1st, but you don't have to do it just that night. There's the whole week before that. We'd love to get you involved, and you'll hear a little bit more about that tonight. Some resources we've been placing out on our website and on our Facebook recently are some really cool resources developed by one of our members who's with the Astronomical League. This is a sky map, and the sky maps are month specific. In other words, we have some for September and we have some for October. And if you check on, let's say, the homepage of librarytelescope.org, you'll find that they're not only in English, but they're also in Spanish, which I think is really great to have multiple versions. And there's a third version, too, that really shows about the planets. Some really cool planets are coming up, and it's a really great navigation tool. And that's posted both on the website, but also Tom Lynch does a great job of posting that on our Facebook.com page at Library Telescope. We've been doing these webinars for quite a while. We have a whole bunch from 2021. All of them are posted out to YouTube. We record them every night. In fact, we're recording this tonight. Last month, I know a lot of you have had the telescopes going for a while, and every once in a while something breaks down, or maybe you're concerned about the program starting, and then you find that maybe you're concerned about the library telescope will really not last very long. But Mark Stobridge, one of our members, talked about telescopes that have been around since 2009, and he literally had one, and he shows that it's operating pretty darn good. So you can go out and watch the webinar and see what Mark says about the durability of the library telescope. Next month, we're going to do a program about hosting library star parties under light polluted skies. So a lot of you have got libraries, or maybe you're an amateur astronomer club. You say, okay, I'd love to go out and show the public how to use the library telescope. Do I have to go out to dark skies, or do I have to go, can I do this at the library? And so I'm actually going to give this program. I've done a lot of programs, and what I find is that basically there's some tips and tricks that you can have to actually make it actually work for you pretty well. So, but tonight we have a really cool program. Grace Boydoin, is that right? I probably didn't get that right. But anyway, she's going to talk. She's from the NASA's Lunar Observing, Lunar and Planetary. You'll have to explain. I'm sorry. But anyway, she's going to be able to describe tonight a little bit about what's going on October 1st, International Observe the Moon Night. And again, for those of you who want to get these YouTube videos, you can go to librarytelescope.org and hit the YouTube link at the very top right. Now, we are going to hold questions to the end. So if you have a question, you're on Facebook, just go ahead and put it in the comments area and we'll respond. And I'll be trying to drop some links in along the way. And if you're on Zoom, which we have Zoom webinar going on as well, you can put them in the Q&A area. And we'll try to watch for those. And when we get done, we're going to allow a little bit of time for questions. And we'll take it from there. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. And Grace, if you can bring up your screen, and we should be ready to go, by golly.
All right. Thank you, Don. All right. Does this look okay?
Yes, it does. Thanks.
Okay. Well, so thank you all for having me. Hi, I am Grace Bodwin. I am a science engagement specialist at the Lunar and Planetary Institute in Houston, Texas. We are right next door to NASA's Johnson Space Center, and we are partners with NASA, but we're like in a funny little category where the Lunar and Planetary Institute is technically not NASA. But if you're unfamiliar with the Lunar and Planetary Institute, check out our website. We've got some great resources and sometimes some really fun public events that are held virtually if you're not in the area. But in addition to working at the LPI, I get to be a part of the coordinating committee for this event that happens every year from NASA. And it's called International Observe the Moon Night. And I'm part of a very large committee of people. They're all listed here. These are wonderful folks who do amazing work. And our job is to try to put together and always grow and advance this program. So this is an annual event. It happens every September or October. And the date moves around because we always put it on a Saturday. But this event has been going on since 2009. And it's grown a great deal. It's changed a lot from what it originally was, but it's still really a grassroots movement about observing and celebrating the moon. And this is done with the support of the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter mission and the Solar System Exploration Division at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center. So I'm going to just take a couple minutes to describe what this program is and how you could get involved this year or next year, because it's coming up really fast this year. And I know it's sort of short notice, but like I said, happens every year. So consider this an invitation to get involved in the future. And I'm also going to go over some of the materials and resources that we have available that could support you as you participate in this event or any time that you're doing an event that involves any kind of lunar science, art, culture, observation in any way. These are evergreen materials that could be used year-round. And then hopefully I can answer some of your questions. Okay, so we're gonna dive in to our next slide. So International Observe the Moon Night is a day where everyone on Earth is invited to observe the moon, learn about the moon, honor personal and cultural connections to the moon, and catch up on lunar science and exploration updates that you might have missed. And especially right now, there is a lot happening in the world of lunar science and exploration. So there's a lot to catch up on. There's a lot of exciting news that's going to come out, and we try to advertise a lot of that and make it accessible through this program. And really, it's a time to celebrate with the rest of the world and honor our moon and connect with lunar enthusiasts from around the world. So you can participate in a lot of different ways. We've got some pictures here from previous programs, folks who have participated. And if I'm looking off to the right, it's because my screen is over here. But so we've had people participate from all over the world. There are no restrictions in who can participate in this program, and there's no right way to do it. So just for folks who are totally new to the program, I'm just briefly going to describe what our goals are, so you get an idea of what it is we're trying to do with International Observe the Moon Night. So the primary goal is to unite people across the globe in a celebration of lunar observation, science, and exploration. And we aim to do that by providing information, a platform, and resources. So through all of this work, we aim to raise awareness of NASA's programs, empower people to learn about the moon in whatever ways are most appealing and accessible to them, facilitate sharing of people from all around the world so that folks can connect in an authentic way, and inspire people to continue observing the moon, the sky, the world around us, and get involved in science in other ways beyond this program. And our goal is really to support people all around the world who are interested in getting involved. Okay, so now a little bit of the details about how you could actually participate and when this happens. So we do this with a lot of flexibility and an eye toward accessibility. So what I mean by that is people host events as part of International Observe the Moon Night. And actually, I'm going to go to, let's look at this one for this. So the way it works, there's no official NASA event in person. On the night of the event, which is October 1st this year. So on the evening of October 1st, there's going to be a live NASA TV broadcast starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time that will cover International Observe the Moon Night, have some awesome highlights about upcoming science, some great activities, and it will feature people who are hosting events. But other than that TV broadcast, International Observe the Moon Night is an event that is put on by the global community. It's totally grassroots, and it's just up to community members within their local areas to decide that they want to put on an event and register it on our website. And then we document it and try to promote it if that's what you need, try to provide resources and support. But it's really a grassroots-led event. And there are lots of different ways to participate. So I can go over this when we look at the website, but if you're interested in hosting an event, then you can register as an in-person or virtual event. And then that can be, that's added to our map, and people can search for events in their area or in the time zone that they're interested in, and they could attend the event you put on. You can make the events public or private, and you can also make them small or household or family events. So you don't have to do something that's large and available to the public. Additionally, we have a lot of people who are just registered as individual observers, meaning they're not doing an event, they're just planning to go out and observe the moon sometime around October 1st, and we want to document that. So you can register and encourage other people to register, even just as individual observers. And then another thing we really encourage people to do once they've decided to participate in whichever way is best suited for them is to share on social media. So we have hashtag Observe the Moon is the way you can connect with us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And we also have a great Flickr page where you can post photos of how you experienced International Observe the Moon Night. Go back to this one. So International Observe the Moon Night, like I said, it happens in the fall, usually September or October every year. It's always on a Saturday, and it's always chosen on a day that is close to the moon's first quarter phase. And we do that because this is a great phase for observing the moon. It's what I'm showing right now. That line between the night side and the day side really helps to show all of the interesting topography and landscapes that are on the moon. You can really see the craters popping out, the ridges, the valleys. So we always pick this phase because it's great for observing, and also because it's high in the evening sky, which is typically when people can go out and view it. And part of the reason also why this is a lunar observing event is because it helps with this point of wanting to be accessible. So one of the things that we aim to do, next one. Okay, so in trying to be accessible, there are a couple different things that we do. So first off, you can register your events on the International Observe the Moon Night webpage. And when you do that, you have a week before or a week after to register your event. So really it's a 2-week-long window of registration period where any event that's registered in that time, we can show it and help promote it through the webpage. If it's before or after that, you're still totally encouraged to do it. It just falls outside of what we'll document as part of the International Observe the Moon Night event. So we try to work within people's schedules, and the moon is visible in even heavily light polluted, very urban areas. So it can make for a great observing target no matter where you are. And it can be observed in really great detail, even just using binoculars or a smaller telescope. So you don't need something that's very high tech. You don't have to have a lot of expertise if that's not something you have available to you. There are no requirements about who can participate or how you participate. There are no requirements for submitting evaluation data or attendance data or anything like that. We really encourage you to, but there's no requirements for anything like that. And our resources, we believe, are really helpful in supplementing any existing programs you have. So whether you're part of a group that is doing star parties or outdoor events or even indoor events, if there's anything where the moon is up or even not up, actually, there's a lot that can be done to view the moon. And we interpret the word observe in International Observe the Moon Night. That word we interpret really, really broadly. Observe could mean going out and viewing the moon. It could mean looking at lunar data and photography using your computer, using 3D, using VR. It could mean creating materials like 3D prints or creating lunar-inspired artwork. Observe is a really loosely defined term. We just want people to enjoy and celebrate the moon. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, actually, let's go back. So this slide, this is what our main registration page from 2021 looked like. So our event last year was the biggest one that we had in terms of registration numbers, which was awesome because it was the height of the pandemic, but people were still excited to go out and observe our closest celestial neighbor. And we had participants. We had almost 4,000 registered events, which based on registration survey data makes us think we had close to 500,000 individual observers, which is really awesome and so exciting. So if you participate, you'd be one of those people. Your little pin could be added to this map and you'd be part of this really big community that goes out and observes the moon. And we also had participation from all 7 continents. So we were able to get the folks down at the South Pole out and observing the moon as well. And they're going to be a part of it this year too. So we're excited to keep growing. And these are just some great photos that were submitted to Flickr from people who participated all around the world last year. All right, so now what I'm going to do, if this will cooperate, I would like to show y'all some of the programs through the actual web page. Okay, so, and Tom or Don, can you tell me if you guys can see the web page okay?
Yep, you can see it just fine, thanks.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. So if you went to this website, moon.nasa.gov/observe, or you could type out observe the moon night, like what's shown here. But if you just did observe, you would come to this homepage, International Observe the Moon Night. And what you can see here is the 2022 participation, folks who have already registered either their events or their individual participation. So if you were interested in participating in whatever capacity, you could come over to this big button, register. And right now, let's go see what that looks like. So here's where you can decide, are you registering as a public event, in which case you'll be displayed on that map, and people who are looking to join events could find information about the public event you're hosting, and they could come to your public event, whether it's in person or virtual. So if you're interested in registering a public event, you would just fill out this information, and then you'd be added to the map and added to the database that people could search. You can also register as a private or household event, in which case you can still be displayed on the map, but none of the information about how to find you or join your Zoom or anything would be available. Or you can register as an individual participant. So this is all really easy to do. And once you've done so, what people would find is if they came over to participate and they were looking for an event, it brings them to this page, and then they're able to search for events that are in their area, or if they know the name of the event, and you can find things that are in your area using the map. So we really encourage you guys, if you want to do anything this year, if you're able to, get your event registered. If you are not able to put together an event, you can still encourage people in your networks to register as individual observers, if that's something that would be beneficial. Okay, so let's say you are hosting an event. We've got a bunch of resources under the How to Host tab, because we don't want folks who are putting together an event to have to reinvent the wheel. There's a lot of different ways that you could put together a program, and it just depends on what you're looking for and what kind of audience you're trying to serve. But we have a lot of information here. We have an event host webinar that was just held earlier, a couple weeks ago, where our team talked with previous event hosts about like what has worked, what did they like, and then we've got information about kind of putting it together, just some ideas that might help you get started. If you're looking for other ways to, or other materials to bring into your events to support them, we've got a tab for that, event materials. So this is where like we have a press release template, we've got video trailers, graphics, the flyer, all kinds of resources here, including presentation slides, activities, and these are found elsewhere on the site, but they're all put together right here as well, which is really useful. And then if you're putting together an event where you want to be able to survey people, we also have example surveys and evaluation tips. So those can all be useful. And we even have an example of a sample event and ways that you could find a partner. If you're looking for, say, like a local astronomy club, or you want to borrow a telescope, we have the library telescope program up here. So if these are things that could promote your event, they're all found here under How to Host. Once you're interested in participating, if you're not putting on your own event, there are lots of things here. So I really like the Observe at Home section, because it gives you ideas of how to observe the moon. And these are things you could incorporate in an event or in your own personal moon observation. But there's all kinds of ideas about ways that you can get people to view the moon. And some of them don't require you to be outside. Along those same lines, if you plan an event, but for some reason you were unable to go through with it, or maybe you got clouded out, the weather is bad, one of the things we're going to have are live streams that will be up starting on October 1st. And these are going to be live streams taken through telescopes from around the world. And so people are going to be viewing the moon live. And if your event got rained out, you could simply pull in one of these live streams to display on a projector or a TV or something like that as a way to still observe the moon in real time from someone else around the world. This is also where you can find information about the NASA TV broadcast, when it's going to happen, and where you can watch it online. Let's see. Oh, we have lots of ways to connect, and we have participation certificates. You can sign up for our newsletter. We won't spam you. We only send out about 4 updates a year. And I'm going to come back to our Flickr page, but first you can go over to resources and our moon map. And this is great. We've got,
yeah, Grace, we lost your internet connection just a little bit there.
October 1st. International Observant. Yeah, I just got a message. How am I doing?
Yeah, we can see it. It's scrolling right now, so you're okay right now.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. My internet's a little choppy, and it doesn't like that I'm going through all these web pages.
That's okay. We got it. We're seeing
Um,
it. And
okay,
I have posted the links out there as well. So those are in the chat for Zoom and also in the comments area for Facebook.
thanks. Yeah, I'm going through a bunch of stuff, but I like to think that our website is pretty friendly to navigate. But also the folks who run the website are on the coordinating committee. They're super responsive and they love helping people out. So if anyone has a question about something on the website or a resource they can't find, at the bottom of every page, you can submit feedback. Um, Here it is. You can submit feedback and they will get right back to you because we really want to connect with people. But all I was saying was this is our highlighted resource right now. This is the moon map. So this is what you'd be seeing when you're looking at the moon on October 1st or anytime right around there. So you could use this to direct community observations of the moon and talk about these different features, including really exciting landing sites to talk about. We also have a lot of hands-on activities. So these are easily accessible, always available materials. We have some highlighted activities at the top. But then down at the bottom, there's a lot more that's available. So some of these are aligned with different national science standards and available for different age groups. So there's lots of lunar science resources here. We also have, we're partnering with the Astronomical League for a limited time observing challenge. So anyone who is planning on being out and observing the moon, we encourage you to take part in this challenge. You'll get a certificate for completing it. And this is, like I said, it's a limited time put on by the Astronomical League as a part of this event. Let's see. I think that's most of what I wanted to review. There are other materials, multimedia, there's a photography and viewing guide. But at this point, the last thing I will say is we have one additional sort of opportunity that I'd like to highlight with you guys, the group that is here right now. If any of you are amateur astronomers and you're planning to, or you'd be interested in viewing the moon through your telescope on October 1st, Saturday evening, and live streaming that view of the moon, we are currently looking for live streams to share and highlight through our website. So you would be featured on this page and as one of the items on the homepage if you're a selected live stream. So Dawn, it was one of the links I sent you. It's just a Google form. If you're interested in applying to be one of our featured live streams, we would be so happy to have more folks apply. But we want a live stream telescope view of the moon. That's what we're looking for. But that's an opportunity that if anyone here is interested, you can fill out that Google form and we will probably be in touch because we're always looking for more of these streams. They're very popular. And then there was one last thing. I'm just going to take us to, this is our International Observe the Moon Night Flickr group. And so if you put on any kind of event, if you participate independently or you join an event and there's any kind of pictures or media that you want to share from the event, this is where we're able to post everything from folks who participate around the world. So if you submit anything to the Flickr group, there is a chance that you will be one of our highlighted resources and we might use your pictures or submissions in future presentations, websites, newsletters, things like that. But that's just another way to participate and we really encourage folks to submit things to the Flickr. Okay.
All right, well, that's awesome.
I'm all done.
Yeah, no, this is great stuff. I mean, there's really a lot of great material and I have dropped most of the links I think that you referenced into the chat for basically Zoom and also into the comments area. So there should be a record there. And Tom, you had a question. I see your hand is raised. Tom Lynch? Yeah.
No, sorry, I don't think I did. Maybe
Well,
I
there's
did.
yeah, you got a little hand. You got a hand up there. It might have just hit the button
Yeah,
accidentally.
that was accidental. I don't have any questions. I've had a lot of people looking at the materials and being very impressed by it.
Right. So if you've got a question, go ahead and drop it out there. I will say the moon is so fascinating. There's so much going on with it. It's really terrific that the fact that it changes all the time, right? I mean, it's not like a static moon that you're looking at. It's the same thing every night. It's actually changing. And the shadowing is really important. Is that right, Grace? I mean, the way that works. I mean, explain how, I guess that Terminator line is the line where it's dark and light, and that changes over every night. Is that right? Just a little bit?
Yeah, it changes every night as the moon orbits around, and we get different views of the face of the moon. And the first quarter, what we were looking at for International Observant Moon Night, is a really great time to view the moon. It's high in the evening sky. It's available for everyone around the world to see. And it's a great time to view the moon because you can really nicely see the depth of the features on the moon's surface. A full moon is great and beautiful, but it can sometimes be so bright that it kind of washes itself out. So a moon with a little bit of shadow on it is actually a really wonderful time to go out and view the features, the landscape of the moon. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, our library telescope is 4.5 inches, and it's actually gathers so much light that we actually put the cover back on us to make a small hole so the light is less going through there. It's crazy, but it's very bright when it gets to actually full moon. So Tom, do you have any questions at all?
No, I don't have anything that came through. People just been impressed.
So one thing that I think that I sometimes get questions on is really, is there really only one side of the moon that we see all the time? There's a little bit of a wobble, right? I mean, we do see the same side, and that's because of what?
Well, because the moon is rotating at I'm going to get the language wrong, but the moon is rotating slightly, but as it orbits. So its face is always to us. One face is always to us. So really we want to refer to it as the near side and the far side, but not the light side and the dark side.
Yeah.
So the back side of the moon, it doesn't face the Earth. We don't get to see it, but it gets sunshine. Right? When the near side is facing us and the sun is behind it, the back side of the moon gets sunshine. There's no dark side of the moon. It's
there
just
you go. I
the
know,
far away side of the moon.
Unless we're talking about a TV show or something like that, or basically a comic, right? So the activities, you had a lot of them out there, and I presume that some of those can be just downloaded and printed and then used from the website. Is that correct? So in other words, there's a lot of great stuff there, right?
Exactly. These are all freely available. This website is up year-round, and they're all NASA approved and NASA created resources. So they're freely available and accessible. And if you have any trouble getting to them or finding something, like I said, please reach out to us. We've got a really, really responsive web team. And if you're not able to do something for International Observe the Moon Night on October 1st or right around it, that's okay. There's a lot of exciting stuff happening in lunar science right now. Like, I hope people have heard about the Artemis program and the postponed Artemis 1 launch, but we really are hoping it'll launch sometime soon. And so if you or your group did an Artemis themed event, you could use any of these resources to support it. And I hope that these will be useful year-round as you do programs. And then next year, when I have more time, we'll come back and we can, focus more on how you put together an event and structures for events that, for different kinds of groups. But yeah, the resources are available year-round, and there's links to a lot of other NASA sites that have just so much material about lunar science.
Well, I know that whenever we do a program, the amateurs that have been around a while that look at the deep sky stuff, they're less impressed with the moon because they've seen it so long. But the actual normal person who looks at the moon for the first time at a telescope or even binoculars, it's just amazing what you can actually see. And I think it's something that even me now, I've been doing this for a while. I still love to look at the moon. And so it's just something that you really need to take advantage of. And because it changes every night, I remember one little diagram you had, activity where you actually drew out the Mara and you actually traced them out. It looked like I could see little traces there, were pretty good. And by the way, there's a trivia question. I think if you go back and play this video later, I remember your picture of the moon on the very top right was Saturn up there. I saw.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's very cool. So you'll have to go back and later and play this video over when we get it posted to YouTube or look at Facebook. It's a very cool, and that's about what you would see in a library telescope, just about what you would see right there. Very, very cool to see that. So I don't think we'll be lucky enough to get Saturn lined up right there on this particular Observe the Moon night with it right behind the moon, but it's still very darn cool.
Yeah, and that's the idea, is that, you know, if you're fortunate enough to live somewhere with dark skies, and, you know, an advanced telescope or someone with the skills to show you, you know, deep sky images or the planets, that's so cool. And that gets people so excited. But if you're not, the moon is really, really accessible and really stunning, especially through a telescope or a nice pair of binoculars.
That's right.
Yeah, so we just hope that it's a stepping stone to get people interested in earth science, planetary science, and space science. And you can use that to say, you know, we want to do a program about the planets or about, you know, Saturn's rings. But you can start by looking at the moon, and I think people will never be too disappointed.
Well, I think it's always great. Well, I think we're going to wrap up here. I think, Grace, really appreciate your program tonight. This is so exciting. This is such a great thing to look at. And when you add that right now, you've got Jupiter and Saturn up here in the Northern Hemisphere. Very cool now, jumping up. And it's just like you got 3 big jewels in the sky to take a look at, right, at one time. So anyway, next month we'll be covering about how to host a library telescope star party in light polluted skies. And so we'll be picking up some of the same things about the moon being very cool to pick up. And Grace, I want to thank you for your time tonight. And certainly if you're an amateur or someone that wants to contact us, we can certainly give you connections to Grace. If you have some questions about your particular library or your club, she's been a super helpful resource for us. We really appreciate that. And Tom, thanks for joining us tonight and keeping me clean on the Facebook and so forth. So, all right. Anyway, this will be recorded. It's been recorded, and I'll be putting this out on YouTube sometime, probably tomorrow morning. You can also certainly go to Tom Lynch, has done such a great job on Facebook. He's got something like 4,000 plus followers out there. And of course, this will be automatically on that by the fact we live streamed it tonight. So thanks again, everybody, and have a great night. And Grace, Tom, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Very cool.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.